Um, it actually goes back 11, almost 12 years to my mother, who was an Alzheimer's patient, and we took care of her at home for just as long as we could, but she got to a point where we had to put her in care, and that was when we discovered Compass. And she was there, she was very comfortable there, she loved it there. My father was very impressed with the care that was given there. He also, a few years later, remarried, and his second wife also had Alzheimer's, and she also went to Compass. So there's a little bit of history there in the family with the organization. So he had been actually planning for years and years that this would be a nice place to end his life. And he has lived alone and independently. He is 96 years old, and he is still living alone and independently. But we began to realize he needed a little bit of help. And I do as much as I can, but it's not always easy. So we actually wrote an appointment with Dr. Reitz, our general practitioner, or his general practitioner, and we mentioned, would it be possible to register him with hospice? And he said, absolutely. My father does have congestive heart failure, and it's been a sort of downward progression for the last year or so, and apparently he qualified. We thought the fact that he could live alone and independently, he wouldn't, but he did qualify, and Dr. Reitz wrote the prescription, so to speak, and what we have is some people who come in and help him at home 3 times a week, and they're not even there for an hour, but on many levels it's been a wonderful help, because they come in and they're companions for him. They are there for safety showers and bathes, which he can totally do independently, but there's always the fear of falling. He has a nurse that he absolutely adores. She comes once a week, and she doesn't just do the fundamentals of taking his vitals. She sits, she talks to him. She's become a part of his life. It's absolutely wonderful. And he also has a social worker, but I believe, and a clergy, but I believe at this point that has all been done remotely because of the virus. So that's how we came to be where we are today. He's a very intellectual man, and he has researched every part of the process of his disease. So he kind of knows exactly where this disease is going. He was not a doctor, but he was a scientist, and he understands medicine. And so he knew what he needed and when. And I had felt the pressure of more and more need for me to be there, and more worry about him being by himself. So this has been, at this point, a perfect solution for us. Eventually, I assume that he will not be able to live at home and independently, and then we will make the decision as to whether we will move him here and continue hospice coming to us, or whether he will actually go into hospice. That's a decision a little bit down the road. But for right now, he's very happy, he's very comfortable, and I'm very comfortable knowing that other than me, there's somebody checking on him every day and caring for him and making his life a little easier. And we've only been doing this for maybe a month, and he's already made connection with these people. They are extremely well trained in their profession, but they're also extremely well trained on how to deal with somebody who needs help. And it's just been a very smooth transition at this point. And it all goes back to my mother and the wonderful care they took of my mother in her last days. It really does all go back to that. He was very grateful to them, because again, he was dealing with an Alzheimer's patient, and it became very difficult for him, and he was not a young man. He's 96 now. 11 years ago he was 85. So the organization has been a part of his life for a long time.